co-host. نعم.
نعم. طيب, we started. بسم الله, الحمد لله, والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. أخي أيمن, raise your hand so I can give you a co-host. We start inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala with one of the texts that is taught repeatedly, ya ikhwa, by the ulama. And this text, the Shaykh Muhammad Hisham, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, he says that a student of knowledge should learn these three fundamental principles, which are the khulasa, yani the summary of the risalat, of the messages of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the people of al-ard, of the earth, which is the khulasa of the risala of our prophet. Yani the Shaykh started naming the prophets and then our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said khulasatu risalatihi, the khulasa of the risala, summary of it, the essence of it, to clarify the meaning of the shahada, la ilaha illallah and Muhammadan Rasulullah, and to clarify the meaning of Islam, salah, Sawm, Zakah, Hajj, in this great text, great risala, oh brothers. Therefore, the ulama, old and new, they still advise regarding the likes of this summarized risala that the person starts with. So he looks, how does he rectify his aqidah? نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وتوفيقا. يقول شيخ الإسلام المجدد محمد بن عبد الوهاب رحمه الله تعالى: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Know, may Allah have mercy upon you, that it is obligatory upon us to learn four matters. The first is knowledge, which is knowing Allah, His Prophet ﷺ, and the religion of Islam with evidences. The second is acting according to it. The third is calling to it. The fourth is being patient with the harm that befalls you while upon it.
نعم. This is the first question that we should have on the exam. To know four things. You know Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, and the deen with its evidence. You act upon it, you call for it, and you are patient upon the harm. Because you're going to be afflicted with harm, ya akhi. And all of this you'll find in Surah Al-Asr. It cannot get simpler than this. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. Al-Imam rahimahullah ta'ala continues, the proof is his saying, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the meaning of, verily man is in loss, by Al-Asr, verily man is in loss except those who believe and do righteous good deeds and recommend one another to the truth, and abstain from and recommend one another to patience. Shafi'i rahimahullah.
The same Shaykh Ali yesterday, you were reading like this and I told you to be a little bit faster. But always have that pace, inshallah. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said, had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not sent down a hujjah to his creation other than this surah, it would have been sufficient for them. And Al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala said, chapter knowledge precedes speech and action. The proof is his statement subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means, so know that la ilaha illallah and seek forgiveness for your sin. So he began with knowledge before speech and action.
أيوة نعم. The Shaykh Muhammad Hisham, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, one of the brothers is asking, saying, are you going to teach from a matan or explanation? It's called Shaykh Muhammad Hisham's Foundational Dawrah. It's all from the explanations of Shaykh Muhammad Hisham. طيب, the Shaykh says, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, that the author started this risala with al-basmalah. And the Shaykh says, you begin your rasail with basmala so that the one who's writing and the one who is reading and the one who is studying is seeking aid from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, he starts with Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'lam rahimakallah. No, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy. No, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on you. The Shaykh says, in this there is that the one who is teaching should have mercy, sympathy, and make dua to the ones who are learning. Therefore, a number of our mashayikh have certain du'as for their tullab, and that is from their shafaqah, their mercy upon their tullab, their students. And it should be upon the teachers to have du'as for their students. And the students should also dedicate from their du'a to their mashayikh. As Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala said, ما دعوت لنفسي قط إلا وجعلت للشافعي مثله. I did not make dua for myself ever, except that I made the same for Ash-Shafi'i, because he was his Shaykh that he benefited from. And I will add to what the Shaykh said. Look, Malik is the Shaykh of Ash-Shafi'i. Ash-Shafi'i is the Shaykh of Ahmad. And Ahmad is the Shaykh of Al-Bukhari. And Al-Bukhari is the Shaykh of Muslim. طيب. That it is mandatory upon us to learn 4 issues. The Shaykh says, why is it mandatory upon us to know these 4 issues specifically? And because these are the introduction for the 3 fundamental principles. And the first one is al-ilm. Some people think that knowledge is not mandatory upon them. Some people think that knowledge or seeking knowledge is not mandatory upon them. Ya akhwa, this is our own translation of the 3 fundamental principles. Send it to the brothers. We can fix it inshallah. But I proofread this personally. طيب. So if we say that ilm is mandatory upon every mukallaf ya akhwa, حتى العامي, even a lay person, it is mandatory upon him to learn this. Mukallaf meaning what ya akhwa? Meaning the aqil, the Muslim aqil baligh, he's saying he is he's a Muslim, he is I am explaining, he's Muslim, he has hit puberty and so on. طيب, the Shaykh asks a question. He says, what is this mandatory ilm that is mandatory upon every Muslim? Knowing Allah, knowing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and knowing the religion of Islam, all with evidence. And the Shaykh says, what is meant by knowing Allah, this is a special type of knowledge that is not the same as the mushriks, as the same knowledge as the mushriks or the Jews or the Christians or the philosophers. La. What is only meant here is the knowledge that is based upon evidence that entails worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That entails worship to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for just knowing, this is not sufficient. What is the evidence for this? The evidence for this is that Iblis, Satan, knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did this benefit him? The answer is no. And he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون. Give me time until the day of judgment. Subhanallah. So what is meant by knowing or knowledge, knowing here, knowledge, is the knowledge that distinguishes you from those that have fallen into misguidance, kufr, and shirk. So our knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger and Islam should not be just mimicking our fathers, our grandfathers. It should be based upon dalil. And of course, ya akhwa, I have explained to you what dalil is. We said ayat from the Quran or ahadith from the Sunnah. طيب. So knowledge, the Shaykh says, knowledge considering the three fundamental principles is mandatory regarding يعني every Muslim, not to mention a student of knowledge. طيب. And knowledge without action is not sufficient. طيب. Number 3, calling to it. And what is mandatory from da'wah, from calling, is to call to knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet, and the deen of Islam, and acting accordingly. Acting according to this knowledge. And number 4, we have patience. And the Shaykh says, look at how Shaykh al-Islam al-Mujaddid Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab has organized this in a significant way, in an amazing way. You have knowledge first, then action, then calling to this knowledge and action, and then patience upon knowledge and seeking it, and patience upon action, and patience upon da'wah, calling towards it. Allahu Akbar. First of all, knowledge, ya ikhwa, then acting upon it, then calling towards this knowledge and acting upon it, and then being patient upon the knowledge and seeking it, and being patient upon acting upon it, and being patient upon making da'wah to it. Allahu Akbar. And ilm must come first before da'wah. However, sabr, patience, is not delayed. It comes with ilm and acting upon it. Therefore, ya ikhwa, the Shaykh says, we must recognize our shortcomings in ilm, and that it results in shortcomings in action. If you see nowadays people, they have shortcomings in their actions and their deeds. What is the reason for that? Their shortcomings in ilm and in da'wah. And the shortcomings in da'wah is because of the weakness of ilm and the weakness of amal, or the weakness or the lack of patience. So these things make up one another. But what is the evidence for this ta'sil? Ta'sil meaning what? This rooting, this foundational obligation. والعصر, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, والعصر, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an oath by time. إن الإنسان لفي خسر. طيب. How many emphasizers do we have in this ayah? The Shaykh says, how many emphasizers do we have in the ayah? Inna, first one is inna, certainly. بمعنى يقينا. This is number 1. Number 2, الإنسان. الألف واللام للاستغراق. Meaning to including all mankind. So this is another emphasizer. Meaning every human being is in khusr. Number 3 is اللام الموطئة للقسم لفي, which means this lam means wallahi, meaning wallahi he is in loss. And number 4, خسر نكرة تدل على التهويل والتعظيم، أي في خسارة عظيمة. إن الإنسان يا إخوة لفي خسر، وأي خسر. I am adding. طيب. So the Shaykh says khusr is nakira, an indefinite word that shows the gravity of it, that it is great. So we have 4 emphasizers here. And before it we had what? The qasam, the oath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wal asr. So this is a 5th emphasizer. So why all of these emphasizers? Our Rabb, Ya Rabb, oh our Rabb, Ya Rabbana, Why all of these emphasizers? إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. So that we are sure that the asl, when it comes, the fundamental principle and the continuous rule, ya akhwa, when it comes to humanity is loss. And most of humanity are in loss. And those who are saved, they are what? They are qillah. They are little, a minority. Therefore came the exclusion. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who have believed. What is the Shaykh saying? Whenever, ya ikhwa, we make an exclusion from something, we exclude something from something else, I am explaining. Normally, when we exclude something from something, that which is excluded is a minority. It's less than what you are excluding from. And you say there's a lot of corruption except in this company, meaning what? Other companies are what? Most of the companies are corrupt, except in this and that company. So there are only a little. Therefore, the Shaykh said, therefore came the istithna, the exception. I'm explaining what the Shaykh said. طيب. طبعا يا شيخ ابن منير and يا شيخ أيمن, regarding the questions, all of these all of these are important questions. The four masail and the emphasizers, and having emphasizers, and what is the why, or what is the asl in humanity, loss, and so on. طيب. إلا الذين آمنوا, except for those that believe. And believe here means what? Knowledge, Islamic knowledge. وعملوا الصالحات, and here it means what? Action, taking deeds and doing deeds. وتواصوا بالحق, the third one is what? Calling. تواصوا بالحق, they admonish one another and then call one another to the truth. This is da'wah. And number 4, وتواصوا بالصبر, which is patience upon harm. And then he mentioned, rahimahullah ta'ala, from the sayings of the Salaf, what emphasizes this, what emphasizes his understanding of how grave this issue, these 4 issues are, to the point that the Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said, and he is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i al-Muttalibi al-Hashimi al-Qurashi. He was born at the year 150 of the Hijrah of the Mustafa. So he was born at the year Al-Imam Abu Hanifa died in. And he died at the year 240. So he lived 54 years. He was born in Gaza. As Allah Azza wa Jal, the Shaykh is not saying, we are making the dua. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala khalasaha from the hands of the transgressors. Ameen, ameen. وطاف الأقطار في طلب العلم. And he طاف الأقطار, يعني he traveled throughout the land seeking علم. مكة, مدينة, حجاز, الطائف, Yemen, البصرة, الكوفة, Baghdad, and then Egypt. And he died there at the year 240. So how did he live 54 years? There's a mistake here. 204. 204. It cannot be 40. I am misreading. 204. Apologies. 204. Naam. Apologies. This is Imam Shafi'i. And he died there. The Imam, the very famous Imam, he's one of the 4 Imams of the fiqh, from those that their fiqh remained. Otherwise, there are many Imams of fiqh. He used to be the qareen of Al-Layth ibn Sa'd al-Misri. He used to be the companion of Al-Layth ibn Sa'd al-Misri in Misr. However, Al-Layth ibn Sa'd, his students did not serve him well. Therefore, his ilm remained in the hearts of books. As for the Shafi'i, they served him, yani his students. Therefore, his ilm has spread throughout the countries, throughout the afaq. طيب, why is it sufficient, the ayat عفوا, from the surah al-Asr? لأنها, the Shaykh says, because it showed that the fundamental principle or continuous rule regarding mankind is loss, and it showed the way to safety. This is, the Shaykh says, this is one reason. And then the Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, the author, showed how ilm precedes action by showing the understanding of an imam of the forerunners, so that no one can come and say Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab is saying this from his own head. He said Imam al-Bukhari said. And Imam al-Bukhari is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail ibn Ibrahim ibn Bardizbah al-Bukhari al-Ju'fi. They say al-Ja'fari here, not al-Ja'fari. If you have the tafriq, correct this. Al-Ju'fi mawlahum. He was born in Bukhara, as a group of the people of ilm said, at the year 190. And he died the year 256 of the Hijrah. He was a student of some of the biggest of ulama, like Ali ibn al-Madini and Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Yahya ibn Yahya al-Naysaburi and Qutayba ibn Sa'id ibn Jamil ibn Tarif al-Baghlani and the likes of them. And his reputation ذاعت في الآفاق, and has become widespread throughout the lands, to the point that his Sahih is the most authentic book after the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. And don't pay attention to the foolish, the Shaykh says, that speak about Al-Imam al-Bukhari. And then the Shaykh starts talking about that the people that wanted to take a stab against the Sunnah, they did not know how to do it. So they took a stab against the Bukhari, rahimahullah ta'ala. And the Shaykh says, read about what the Shaykh of our Mashayikh, Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Mubarak Furi, rahimahullah ta'ala, said in the Sirah of Imam al-Bukhari, the Amir of the Mu'mineen, in regards to the Hadith. For the greatest that have ever written about Imam al-Bukhari are two people. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Hadi al-Sari, the introduction of Fath al-Bari, and the Shaykh al-Mubarak Furi in two great volumes. He says in the book of Ilm in his Sahih, and it is the second book in the Sahih al-Bukhari, Babun, chapter, Al-Ilmu qabla al-Qawli wal-Amal, knowledge precedes speaking or acting. The Shaykh says, why Al-Ilm qabla al-Qawli wal-Amal? Why is it precedes them? Because Amal, action, if it is not based upon knowledge, it is one of two things. It is either misguidance or foolishness. طيب, where did you get this from? Bukhari, Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. Where did you get this from? From Surah Muhammad, ayah 19. فَاعْلَمْ, no, أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. So no, that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and seek forgiveness for your sin. Al-istighfar, the Shaykh says, seeking forgiveness, is what? Amal, is action. So he started with ilm, fa'lam. Started with what, ya ikhwa? Ilm, fa'lam, knowledge. طيب. قبل القول, before speech. What is speech? لا إله إلا الله. And what is amal? Seeking forgiveness. استغفر لذنبك. You understand now, ya ikhwa? Yeah, the Shaykh is telling us the evidence for this. فa'lam, no, أنه لا إله إلا الله. This is speech. لا إله إلا الله. واستغفر لذنبك. You when you seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is action. So speech before, and knowledge before speech and action. طيب. And this is from the fiqh of Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, that he mentioned the book of Iman and then mentioned the book of Ilm. Because what establishes and makes Iman firm is ilm. Allahu Akbar. What establishes and makes iman firm is ilm, seeking knowledge, ya akhwa. Because if iman is not built upon Islamic knowledge, it cannot be correct iman. And before that, he said, Babun Bad'ul Wahi. So this is an indication from Imam al-Bukhari that if iman is not taken from the wahi, it is not iman. It is mental, logical iman. It is not real iman. Because this iman goes with whims and desires. Iman according to your whims. La, al-iman that is required is the iman that has been narrated in the wahi. طيب. بسم الله. Allow me, ya ikhwa, barakallahu fikum, to do this. As I need to stand up, I do have some back problems. So please excuse me for doing this. Apology for this, but I have to, as this causes problems for me with my back. طيب. Bismillah. No, this is good. طيب. The Shaykh says, سمعت أحد الضلال في هذا الزمان. I heard one of the misguided people of this time. He says, this hadith, if the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says it, I won't accept it. This is how he says it. And the Shaykh says, لولا أني أكرم المسجد لذكرت اسمه. If it weren't for that I dignify the masjid from mentioning his name, I would have mentioned his name. This zindiq, yani this hypocrite. The Shaykh says. He says, if the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says this, I won't accept it. I would say, oh Messenger of Allah, my aql, my intellect does not accept this talk, does not accept what is being said. We say, the Shaykh say, we say, Ya zindiq, oh you zindiq, then do not say, I bear witness that Muhammad is the Messenger of Allah. Say, I bear witness that my aql, that my intellect and my mind is the Messenger of Allah. You are a zindiq, you are a hypocrite that wants to demolish Islam. You want to demolish the religion by the name of intellectuality and mind and intellect and so on. And the intellect of whom? The intellect of who? Your intellect and the likes of you? Not the intellect of the A'imma? If the religion was for you, the aql, the intellect of the imams, you would have followed them. These people did not know the meaning of Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, truly. And the Shaykh says, therefore, don't be shocked from the Zamakhshari. We were just talking about the Zamakhshari, the Shaykh, in the previous lesson. He says, the Shaykh now says, don't be shocked that the Zamakhshari and the likes of the Zamakhshari, in his book, in his tafsir, in his book of tafsir, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Isra, ayah 15, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا, and we would not torture until we send a messenger. قال, he said, and some of them said, رَسُولًا, a messenger, meaning عَقْلًا, a mind. So don't be shocked, because the minds and reason and intellect for these people is everything. طيب. Then the ilm is the ilm that is divinely revealed and not the ilm of the hawa. Subhanallah. Wallahi, it is so beautiful, ya ikhwa. When we hear the Shaykh, when the Shaykh said here that when somebody says, if Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not say it, said it, I won't accept it. and I say my aql does not accept it, the Shaykh said, then don't say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Say, I bear witness that my aql, my mind, my brain, is the messenger of Allah. Subhanallah. Wallahi, this resonates so much. I remember I told you the story this once, ya ikhwa, I don't know how many times, but something similar happened to me. I remember when I was talking to somebody and telling him that this is what Salaf al-Salih said. You know what he told me? He said, if a Salaf al-Salih were like this, I don't want to Salaf al-Salih, and I don't want to follow him, I don't want to be one of them. SubhanAllah, as if Salaf al-Salih are waiting for you, huh? Wallahi, only harming themselves and nobody else. Na'am.
أحسن الله إليكم. Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala says, "Know, may Allah have mercy upon you, that it is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female, to learn and act upon these three matters. The first is that Allah created us, provided for us, and did not leave us neglected. Rather, He sent a messenger to us, so whoever obeys Him enters Jannah, and whoever disobeys Him enters the fire. The proof is His statement in the meaning of, Verily we have sent to you a messenger to be a witness over you, as we did send a messenger to Fir'aun. But Fir'aun disobeyed the messenger, so we seized him with a severe punishment. The second, surely Allah does not accept anyone being associated with Him in worship, neither an angel that was brought close, nor a prophet that was sent, nor anyone else. The proof is His statement subhanahu wa ta'ala in the meaning of, and the mosques are for Allah, so invoke not anyone along with Allah. The
It should
third,
be
surely
it should be masjids, and that the masjids are for Allah instead of mosques. Na'am.
Sallallahu alaykum. The third, surely it is not permissible for the one who obeys the messenger and makes tawheed of Allah to take as allies those who oppose Allah and His messenger, even if they are the closest of relatives. The proof of His statement, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the meaning of, you will not find any people who believe in Allah and the last day making friendship with those who oppose Allah and His messenger, even though they were their fathers or their sons or their brothers or their kindred. For such He has written faith in their hearts and strengthened them with ruh from Himself, and He will admit them to gardens under which rivers flow to dwell therein. Allah is pleased with them, and they with Him. They are the party of Allah. Verily, it is the party of Allah that will be successful. No,
Na'am.
may Allah.
These three issues, the Sheikh says, these are from the general issues that we must learn as Muslims. يعني that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept to associate anyone with Him. So once you know this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept this, a question might come to you. What is my ruling if I see a mushrik or a kafir, a disbeliever, while he's making kufr and shirk? What do I do? Do I love him and I become his close companion? Or do I hate him for his kufr and shirk? I think the answer is obvious, يا أخوة. طيب. نعم. نعم. إنا أرسلنا إليكم رسولا شاهدا عليكم كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون رسولا. يعني الله سبحانه وتعالى فعصى فرعون الرسول. The ألف واللام فعصى فرعون الرسول meaning موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام. This is للعهد الذهني. طيب, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this then to us? يعني we have sent to you a messenger that is witness upon you, as we have sent to Fir'aun a messenger. So Fir'aun disobeyed the Rasul, meaning Musa. So we have taken him, يعني punished him heavily, basically the meaning. طيب. Why is this mentioned for us? The Shaykh says, meaning you don't disobey the messenger of your time. For if you disobey him, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take us like He has taken Fir'aun and his people. And you get the punishment if you reach their tajabbur and their arrogance and so on. طيب. وأن المساجد لله. طيب. you are not allowed to make sujood to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. But wherever you go upon the earth, you are allowed, and there's a place, you are allowed to make sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the place of sujood is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how would you make sujood to other than Allah? Yani you go to a person's house and you eat from his house and then you go and thank the neighbors. What would people say about you? They would say you are crazy or foolish. Fine. So what is meant by al-masajid? The places of sujood. Another tafsir the Shaykh said is the action itself and not the place, meaning the ibadat. So it is not the plural of masjid, it is the plural of masjid. So everything that is a ibadah, it is not allowed that you dedicate to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. There is no khushu' except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no hope and depending, raja and tawakkul except for Allah. These are actions of the heart. There is no ruku', bowing, there is no sujood, prostration except for Allah. And these are physical actions, and there is no dua, supplication, or istighatha, seeking aid, except from Allah, and these are sayings of the tongue. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ, يعني they belong to Allah, because the earth is the earth of Allah, and the heavens are the heavens of Allah, and the ibad are the ibad of Allah, and the rizq, the sustenance is the sustenance of Allah, and the command is His, and the forbidding is His. طيب يا أخوة, write this down from me. This is a qaida, a rule. Everything that is an act of worship, write this down. This is a rule, qaida. Everything that is an act of worship, dedicating it to other than Allah Azza wa Jal, is major kufr that gets someone outside the fold of Islam. Anything that is an act of worship, dedicating it to other than Allah, is major disbelief that gets someone outside the fold of Islam. Why did I say anything that is an act of worship? Because if it is not an act of worship, this is something else. So every act of worship, if you dedicate any act of worship to other than Allah, this is major kufr that gets someone outside the fold of Islam. طيب موالاه. Brothers, I'm not gonna نعم, major kufr or major shirk, it's the same. But I'm not gonna answer questions, okay? So I'm receiving, like, every time I look, I see new questions, every time. But there is no need. I won't answer questions. We want to study first. It's not a Q&A. What is the meaning of al-muwalah? The Shaykh says, al-muwalah hiya al-mawaddatu wal-mahabbatu at-ta'abbudiyya. It is love that is ta'abbudi, yani worship. That has to do with worship. Why do you live a Muslim, a Chinese Muslim? Because he's a Muslim. Why do you love an American Muslim? Because he's Muslim. You love him for his deen. This is mahabbatun ta'abbudiyya. This is love that is an act of worship. Okay, ya ikhwan? And this is something that is mandatory upon you. And in يعني opposite to this, to the mahabba ta'abbudiyya, the mahabba that is ta'abbudiyya for the disbelievers, it is haram upon you, it is forbidden. It is impermissible for you to love a kafir because of his religion. If somebody loves his Christian wife because she is his wife, this is not included, because this is worldly life. There you are. Now, نعم تفضل يا أخي.
أحسن الله إليكم. نعم, أحسن الله إليكم. Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala said, No, may Allah guide you to His obedience, that Al-Hanifiyya, the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam, is that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, making the religion sincerely for Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered all of humanity with this and created them for this, as He subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and I created not the jinn and the mankind except that they should worship me. The meaning of to worship me is to make tawheed of me. The greatest thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded is tawheed, which is singling out Allah in worship. And the greatest thing that
again,
Allah
apologies, again, start again.
No. Ahsanallahu alaykum. No, may Allah guide you to His obedience, that Al-Hanifiyya, the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam, is that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making the religion sincerely for Him. Allah ordered all of humanity with this and created them for this. As He subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the meaning of the ayah, and I created not the jinn and mankind except that they should worship me. The meaning of to worship me is to make tawheed, meaning to make tawheed of me, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The greatest thing that Allah has commanded is tawheed, which is singling Him out in worship, singling out Allah in worship. And the greatest thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited is shirk, which is worshipping others along with Him. The proof is His subhanahu wa ta'ala's statement in the meaning of worship Allah and join none with Him. So
Right.
if it is said to you,
Ibrahim was Hanif, meaning that he turned away, turned towards Tawheed always. That he is upon Tawheed and his heart is always turning towards Tawheed and the perfection of Tawheed, and does not turn towards anything else. This is the meaning. Mukhlisan lahu ad-din, making the religion sincere to him, meaning worship. So worship of the heart, worship of the tongue, yani through sayings, and worship of actions. And he created them for it, meaning he created them, yani meaning us, ya akhwa, to worship him alone with no partners. And the evidence for this, and I have only created mankind to worship, jinn and mankind to worship me. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Why did he mention al-jinn before mankind? Because he created them first, before human beings. What is the first commandment of the Quran? In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 21, Ya ayyuhan nasu u'budu rabbakum. O people, worship your Rabb. And what is the first forbiddance or forbidding in the Quran? Is in Surah Al-Baqarah, the next ayah, ayah 22, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Don't make or set rivals with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while you know. So Tawheed is what, ya ikhwa? Is sincerity. Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Dedicating all of worship and the deen, all of it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Some people think shirk only has to do with the lordship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it is more general than that. It is supplicating to other than Him with Him. For what is meant with the shirk, take this benefit, ya akhi Mir, Shaykh Mir. Take this benefit. الشرك إذا أطلق في القرآن والسنة, when shirk is mentioned unconditionally, يعني shirk on its own, in the Quran and the Sunnah, what is meant by it is the shirk of uluhiyya, the shirk in ibadah, in worship. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. And Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala said, so if it is said to you, what are the three fundamental principles that are obligatory upon every individual to know? Then say, it is that the abd knows his Rabb, religion, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if it is said to you, who is your Rabb? Then say, my Rabb is Allah.
These are the three fundamental principles, ya akhwa. Who's your Rabb? What is your religion? And who is your Prophet? Naam, the first fundamental principle.
Then say, my Rabb is Allah, the one who nurtured me and nurtured all of creation through His favors, and He is the one whom I worship, and I have none worthy of worship besides Him.
How beautiful is this? رب الله الذي رباني ورب جميع العالمين بنعمه وهو معبودي ليس لي معبود سواه ليس لي معبود سواه. And I always like to add here, always, when Fir'aun asked Musa and Harun, he said, وَمَنْ رَبُّكُمَا يَا موسى? قال ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. يعني in Surah Taha, the beginning of Surah Taha, Fir'aun said to Musa, who is your Rabb? Both of you, يعني Musa and Harun. Said ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى. Our Rabb is the one that has given proportioned everything, given it its khalq, and then guided. Allahu Akbar. نعم.
أحسن الله إليكم. And he is the one whom I worship, and I have none worthy of worship besides him. The Prophet is saying, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the meaning of all the praise and thanks be to Allah, the Lord, the Rabb al Alameen, the Rabb al Alameen. Everything besides Allah is in Alam, and I am one of those Alam.
نعم. So Alam is every created thing. This is what is meant. طيب. The Shaykh says the importance of these three fundamental principles, they show from many aspects. Number one, that the religion, all of it is based upon these three fundamental principles: knowing Allah, knowing Islam, knowing the Prophet of Islam. Number two, that these questions will be asked about in the grave. Who is your Rabb? What is your deen? Who is your Prophet? Number three, that the people, once they are resurrected, they will be asked about these three things. What did you use to worship? What did you answer the messengers? So this shows what? This shows that these three fundamental principles are apparent and relevant in the dunya and in the qabr, in the grave, in the alam al-barzakh, and also in the hereafter. طيب ولله الأسماء الحسنى فادعوه بها. And to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belong the most beloved of names, so call him with them. The Shaykh says the meaning of Allah, and if somebody came and asked you, I said, what is the meaning of Allah? First of all, this name, all of the names, they go back to the name Allah. Therefore, the Shaykh mentioned the ayah, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. And to Allah belong all the most merciful names. I am explaining. Yani he did not say, and to the Rahman and to the Rahim belong. He said, and to Allah belong the most perfect of names, so call him with them. طيب. So what is the meaning of this name that all the names follow? The name Allah. أي ذو الألوهية, the one worthy of worship, the one who's described as worthy of worship, meaning المستحق للعبادة المألوه المحبوب المعبود, the one worthy of worship, the one who is loved and worshipped. ورب جميع العالمين, he raised all the عالمين, رب عيسى and موسى محمد الحسن الحسين الجيلاني البدوي, هو رباهم, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the Rabb of every created thing, whether the alam that is ulwi, in the heavens and so on, the upper part, or the sufli, the lower. So how do we have a marboob, a one that has a Rabb, a creator? Yani someone who has a creator, he himself is created and in need of him and to raise him and to nurture him and sustain him and so on. How can he be worthy of worship? This is impossible. The one who's worthy of worship is the Rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who Rabbani, created me and sustained me and raised me and so on, and all of creation, Jibreel, Mikael, Israfil, the angel of death, the prophets, Ulul Azm, the awliya, the salihin, the righteous and so on, and those that are other than them. All of them are under the rububiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. طيب. And he did so out of grace from him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is not that he is returning a favor or a blessing from us to him. La. This is out of his ihsan, ibtida'an wa intiha'a, initially and yani in the beginning and foremost and in the end. From the ihsan, the generosity and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, alhamdulillah. Praises to Allah. Why? Why alhamdulillah? What is the answer? Ya akhwa, I remember the Shaykh taught me this yani in person. The Shaykh taught me something, wallah, ajib. I never looked at it before this way. We had a lesson, ya akhwa, in the masjid with the Shaykh. And afterwards, after he finished, he needed to drive to another masjid to give another lesson. So I went with some of the brothers that were with me. We finished the lesson with the Shaykh in his masjid. And then we went in the car and waited for the Shaykh يعني, in the other masjid. As we were getting out of the car, we were entering the masjid, or the Shaykh was entering as well. So we said salam to the Shaykh and so on. And I was asking him about things like this. And then he taught me something. He said, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes explains to us in the Quran at the very next ayah. He said, look, قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد الله الصمد. What is the meaning of Allah الصمد? لم يلد ولم يولد. What is the meaning of a samad? The one who neither begets nor is begotten. This is the meaning of a samad. And this is one of the meanings, by the way. طيب. So now the Shaykh is saying, Alhamdulillah. You say Alhamdulillah. You're beginning, you say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, right? So Alhamdulillah. Somebody stops you. Why? The Shaykh says, because Rabbil Alamin. He's the creator. Rabbil Alamin. What is the meaning of Rabb al Alamin? He's the creator, sustainer, dispenser of affairs, having dominion over what? All created things. Therefore, all praises due to him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Rabbani wa Rabb al-Alamin nurtured me and sustained me and every created thing. That's why all praises due to him. Wallahi, akho, have you ever thought about this? Every salah 18 times a day, if we don't pray the sunnah, and even more if we pray the sunnahs. Have you ever thought about Alhamdulillah? Why all praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why Alhamdulillah? Is because He is the Rabb of the Alamin. He's the sustainer, dispenser of affairs of all living things. Have you ever thought about this? Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, they recite the Quran and what they see and understand is totally different. What the ulama see and understand and feel is very different than us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us our shortcomings. طيب, why is the alam called a alam, ya Shaykh Abu Umar? Why is the alam called a alam? Because it is a alama ala Allah. Because it is a sign that refers back to Allah. It is an indicator to Allah Azza wa Jal. As Abu Tammam said, وَفِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَهُ آيَةٌ تَدُلُّ عَلَى أَنَّهُ وَاحِدٌ. And in everything there is an ayah that indicates that He is one, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But why is the alam called a alam? Because it is a sign that indicates, or it's an indicator that refers back or indicates Allah subhanahu, refers back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. And we'll stop here inshallah azza wa jal, and we will continue after the salah of al-maghrib. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.